Ever since it was revealed at the tail end of last year, Ghost of Yotei has been an incredibly divisive game for justifiable and baffling reasons, if I'm going to keep it a buck. Now, this is a game that, well, I've followed quite a bit. I've done a fair few videos on it, and honestly, I don't really know what to make of it. Sucker Punch, as a studio who's developing this game, who also developed the Ghost of Tsushima, which this is a sequel of, a repurposed sequel, and yeah, there's reasons, of course, to be trepidatious, and I'm not out here, sweeping for this game, okay? Even after watching the dedicated state of play on it, I don't, it's not a game for me, okay? I'm not really, I like the setting, I like the aesthetic and all that stuff, it's just the gameplay, it doesn't really resonate with me, okay? But the big open world, it does look good, and I'm sure it's going to appeal to the type of players that like Ghost of Tsushima, who like this type of game. I'm sure it's going to play exceptionally well to them, because from the gameplay that we've seen, honestly, it looks really good, okay? Like, this looks like, kind of a top tier type experience that Sony desperately needs at this point in time, because exclusives have been far and few between in the past couple of years, and given how people have been gagging for a sequel to Ghost of Tsushima when it came out in 2020, and then you come around in 2025 after the shine has kind of fallen off of the whole girl boss aesthetic, and yeah, from what we're seeing so far, doesn't really look like it's gonna be cut from that cloth. But we've also seen throughout other industries, when you decide to put a woman at the forefront of an action-based entertainment franchise, Furiosa with over Mad Max, Ballerina over John Wick, it doesn't really tend to work out all that well. But with all of that said, gaming can go a bunch of different ways, because there have been successful female action franchises. There have been successful female action-led games recently be exceedingly popular, and yeah, if they just make a good game, and especially at this point in time, like, I don't know, for all of those people that were super hyped about Death Stranding, how many of them are still playing Death Stranding? And if there is one game right now in an otherwise very anemic summer release schedule, if we're going to be completely honest, man, like, there is nothing coming out right now. If something can come along before the big rush towards the end of the year with a lot of those franchise titles, this could end up being the one. Or maybe it'll just be a big woke disaster, and everybody's going to be right about the activist, the voice actress. Okay, yeah, she's just going to overrun the entire studio. It's just all full of a bunch of diversity hires, blah, 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 all that crap. Maybe you guys will be 1000% right. I don't know for sure. But from everything that I'm seeing right now, and as somebody who calls out the crap on a consistent basis, I just don't see it quite yet. And something else that is kind of leading me to believe that this could be a game worth your time is if even the gamer of all outlets has a pretty measured take on this stuff. I'm not trying to push any of the feminist ideology. Ghost of Yotei, at least on the surface, appears to be more of the same, despite taking place several centuries after the events of Tsushima and putting us in control of a fresh new heroine, Atsu. Most of our time will still be spent exploring luscious environments and slicing foes to bits. I can understand player concerns, especially when the original game was a stylish but rather pedestrian open-world experience where your actions boiled down to chasing down markers across the open world and completing activities that eventually blended into one another. Yeah, but here's the thing, when your combat's good, it's one of those things, right? Like, I've never been that big of a fan of open world games, because like there was a meme that was going around not that long ago that was just showing, okay, like a story-driven linear experience, and it had 2 points, relatively close in the picture, and then in an open world they had point A at one end and point B all the way over at the other, showing that's the open world experience. It's a lot of padding in between with, you might have beautiful vistas, you might have a bunch of, NPCs populating the area. Boy, it's really, it feels so alive, but in actuality, you're not really doing all that much, okay? Not everything's a Grand Theft Auto where you can just cause a bunch of chaos, but honestly, even the half-life on that type of shit, it just dries up very quickly. I'm somebody who very much likes a single-player experience. I like a good story. I like good characters. So yeah, open world stuff, it's just always seemed to have been more troublesome than it's actually worth. You have to do it really well. You have to, pack those open worlds with fun things to do, with good side quests, with quality explorable areas in order to get me entertained. But from what I'm hearing from the people that like Ghost of Tsushima to begin with, and what Sucker Punch has done in prior games, like, they're pretty good at this stuff, okay? And if it's more of the same of that, then guess what? Those people that turned out in droves in 2020 that made Tsushima one of the best-selling games on the PS4, that came over when the PC port was announced and dropped and took that shit to the moon, they're liable to turn around again, once again, this September. But yes, at the tail end of last week, Ghost of Yotei, a focused state of play, did an exceptional job at swaying, my fears about, the upcoming sequel, notably in how it's expanding upon the original open world. Now, exploration isn't simply fueled by opening the map and selecting an icon to work towards, but defeating and interrogating NPCs throughout the world will allow you to ask, questions linked to specific cards, which in turn are related to certain activities, locations, or quests to discover. Yeah, see, that's a really cool development. I just kind of hope where it doesn't fall into that trope a la Star Wars Outlaws, where if you stumble upon a quest giver out there in the world, you can go ahead and interact with said quest if you have the ability to properly interrogate or engage with that NPC out in the world, as opposed to, no, you haven't triggered A, therefore you cannot trigger B, so have to go do that before you can come back. So go and do that. I will still be standing here, just minding my business next to this ratty gate. I don't care if you heard to clear out the wolf encampment. I haven't gotten the heads up yet from the bartender who was going to give you the quest to begin with, but I digress. In doing so, the objectives you discover and eventually go on to complete, they should not be decided by a predetermined path, but your own desire to explore. The open world looks massive too. Sucker Punch, yes, making the point during the presentation that certain decisions will take you to entirely new climates, towns, and cities. Everyone will look everywhere you look, there is a new discovery, and relieved and no longer determined by following the wind and talking to foxes. So it comes out October 2nd. I thought it was at the tail end of September, so my mistake. So a couple of months. I'm sure we're going to get a little bit more information on this, but it's looking pretty good, man. Like, it's shaping up to be something pretty decent, okay? But realistically, the make or break for this game is in fact going to be the main character, and if she's going to be insufferable or not. Is she going to lean into a lot of the gaming tropes that have been festooned about the industry for, I would say, about a decade and a half at this point in time? Is gaming alongside comics, those are probably the two early adopting platforms, and while comics have completely and totally nosedived, gaming in general has survived mostly because of mobile and the indie space buoying the rest of the industry. But AAA, we've seen what happened, and a lot of it has been, especially on the side of Sony, following old Jughead in the Forbidden West. But I digress. Is Atsu going to be something different? Ghost of Yotei protagonist, according to earlier, PlayStation blog, represents how Sucker Punch wanted to create something fresh but familiar. So in order to explore new avenues beyond Jin Kasai's story in Ghost of Tsushima, Ghost of Yotei will put us in the role of the new protagonist known as Atsu. 16 years ago, at the heart of Izo, called Hokkaido in present day, a gang of outlaws known as the Yotei Six took everything from Atsu. They killed her family, left her for dead, pinned her to a burning ginkgo tree outside her home, but Atsu survived. She learned to fight, kill, hunt, and after years away, she returned to her home with a list of 6 names: the snake, the oni, the kitsune, the spider, the dragon, and Lord Saito, armed with the same katana used to pin her to the burning tree all those years ago. Ghost of Yotei sees Atsu venture out on a crusade of vengeance and bloodshed, but that's not all she will discover. I'd imagine that's what that's supposed to say. She'll find out that there's more to her journey than just revenge. She explores Izo. Atsu will meet unlikely allies and forge connections that will help give her a new sense of purpose. So there's going to be more than just simply, hey, I'm out here to go get revenge, but hey, she's out there, she's training. This isn't going to be some, stereotypical Mary Sue, at least from what we have seen so far, okay? If her combat prowess, as bolstered by, requisite amounts of training and a suitable use of weaponry, could be believable, could be useful, and of course, if there's any level of mysticism on top of that, to me, that passes the smell test. But of course, even just simply being a female protagonist, and because gaming just so desperately wants to be Hollywood at this point in time, they cast their protagonist, and this one, Atsu, is based off of Erika Ishii, who, had roles in Apex Legends, Destiny 2, and BioWare's latest RPG, The Veilguard. Yes, Dragon Age of the Veilguard, she was a part of that, and not exactly a resume of success recently, if we're going to keep it a buck, okay? Apex Legends continues to just barely eke out an existence. Destiny 2 is dead, and so is the studio that made it. And the Veilguard, I mean, do we even need to trudge it up anymore? And we've looked into Ishii's history, and yeah, she's an activist through and through, but she's also an actor. And if she can keep her politics over there, that's totally fine. As somebody who's been a conservative his entire life, if I'd only watch and consume media based on people who share my same interests, I would be a very, very, very bored individual. And so far, I haven't really heard anything out of Erika's mouth. I haven't seen any interviews. She hasn't spurged out any more so than anybody else on social media, and that's implying that there is something out there. Honestly, like when the game was first announced and they did the big state of play, she was just retweeting, "Oh, I'm so glad everybody's, liking the game." Okay, it's all been about the game. It hasn't been about her. She hasn't done a Ziegler. She hasn't even done, what's that goof over there working with Naughty Dog? Not Cuckman, but the intergalactic heretic prophet chick. Like, she's been more political than the one that's getting all of the shit right now. And honestly, I don't think that it's fair. Like, it's really 1000% unfair because, yeah, she's the voice actress, okay? Her appearance is based on Erika. They're taking pictures of her like this. It's like, yeah, okay, good thing that she's not doing like the actual body work. It's like, okay, cool. She's pudgy. I don't care. It's like, honestly, like if you're grabbing at straws like this, something that apparently she's doing on a fairly consistent basis, no meals missed, okay? Might be out there on a ruthless hunt for vengeance, but also for a ruthless quest to the corner store. But is that going to affect her performance in the voice acting booth? Yeah, I don't fucking think so, man. This is all you can do, okay? And yes, this picture and also the video that the screenshot is taken from is like, okay, cool. Yeah, it looks fucking goofy. I'll keep it a buck. Like, this is fucking weird, but all things said and done, I don't really care, man. She brings a character to life appropriately. That is really all that matters. Is this really what gamers want? I mean, Marlon Brando towards the end of his career, not exactly fucking easy on the eyes, but he did his job and he did it extremely well. I'm not trying to put Erika Ishii and Marlon Brando on the same level, but I'm just saying, physical appearance does not translate to overall acting talent. I really hope that she can bring it, but yeah, for the people from the corners of the internet that are sharing this stuff around like it's some big fucking gotcha that Ghost of Yotei is going to be bad because it's woke and you got a pudgy lead actress. It's like, fucking great critiques you have over there because you're holding up games like this that now that it's been out for a month, we can finally start poking holes in Stellar Blade about how it's an abysmal story with cardboard cutout characters. Like, yeah, Stellar Blade director admits the narrative was lacking, says that he's cautious about trying to make up for it now. Interesting. Yeah, so Stellar Blade 2, yeah, because we have new connections with Naughty Dog, we're going to try to focus on making a better story for the second one. Yeah, the gameplay was bare bones and basic bitch, essentially press square to win. It got boring after about 20 minutes, but yeah, it's fine because Eve's hot. You can put her in green saran wrap costumes and you can make her slide up and down ladders. That's all you've seen. That is all you have seen, and that is all everybody knows about this game. And you know why that's the case? Because the gameplay is passable, the story is laughable, and the characters are non-existent. It is barely a game. But hey, Eve is super attractive, right? Because that's what makes a game. Dude, it's so stupid. It's like people saying that Jurassic World Rebirth is worth it because we get to see dinosaurs on the screen. It's like, cool, could we just have like characters and a good story behind that? No, we just want to see dinosaurs on screen. And I just want to hear the Jurassic Park theme because I want to remember things. I want to see things that I know. Christ almighty, if you need video game characters to look like this, just fucking pop on the internet. That shit is everywhere. If you're going to spend the time and commit the resources to a goddamn project, you might as well make it worth your time. But yes, regardless of my opinion on the topic, right? Because we talked about this, and yeah, within a couple of days, Stellar Blade went gangbusters, sold over 3 million copies between the PS5 and PC, of course, okay? A greater share was over on PC because, well, hey, more people are playing PC in 2025 than they are on consoles. That's just the way of the world, and that's how it is. But yeah, there's this thing about a month ago, right? Because when was this update exactly? Yeah, June 16th. So here we are, day shy of a month. How's Stellar Blade doing right now with its really attractive characters? Oh, right, yeah, it's lost about 85% of its player base. Yeah, the game has fallen off the face of the earth. It didn't even get a bump during the summer sale. There you go. You got your attractive characters. That's fantastic. Is anybody still playing the game? Abso-fucking-alutely not. Now, this isn't going to be some gotcha, okay? Just because main character in Ghost of Yotei isn't on the same level as Eve means that that game is going to be any better? Like I said at the beginning, it's not a game that really does anything for me. I just hope that it's good for the people that are looking forward to it. I have a lot of faith in it because, Sucker Punch has a track record of doing exceptionally high quality games, so I hope that that is a continuation for the fans of Ghost of Tsushima and for action adventure games like that in general. I'm just saying, dismissing a game based on an unflattering screen grab is fucking juvenile at best and fucking retarded at worst. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.